Wow, this is the Velotric Discover 2, and you're going to see in this review why I think this is one of the best, seriously, one of the best commuter e-bikes that is on the market today. It has so many bells and whistles on it, but it also has such performance and comfort and style that is actually untouched in a lot of different e-bikes that I've actually tried so far. There's so much to go over in this review, so without further ado, let's get started. Oh, by the way, full disclosure, Velotric did send me this bike for review. Everything that I am saying in this review is fully my own words and my own opinions. Let's get started. All right, so here I have behind me the Velotric Discover 2, an absolutely amazing commuter e-bike. From front to back, I gotta say, this bike has pretty much everything a premium commuter e-bike is what you'd expect to have. It also has these swept back handlebars that'll make it more like a cruiser e-bike. So I'm gonna start by saying that I actually have a cheat sheet to go over all the specs on this bike because there is just so many things to go over. I wanna make sure I don't miss anything because this is one of the most premium commuter bikes that I've come across thus far, with all the different features and the way that they designed this thing. First and foremost, it's 63 pounds. It's not super heavy. I mean, putting it up on this wall was no issue, which means it is kind of maneuverable. It's not like something that's going to be in the 80-pound range. That actually does feel extra heavy. The rack here does allow you to go up to 66 max payload for the rack itself, and the whole bike can actually take a full max payload of 440 pounds. Now, this bike also comes in, this is the green. I guess they call it pine green because it kind of has a darker, but it does also have this really nice metallic sparkle to the paint that's in there. But this here is the pine green. They also have mint, which is a kind of a lighter green, and then they have a cherry crimson, which is more of a red style, and a stone gray, which of course is a darker gray bike, which is all beautiful in colors that they have. Now, the next thing that they do also offer is they offer this in two sizes, because there's also, this is the smaller size. This is what's called the regular, and it goes from 4'11" to 5'9" in height, rider height. So I'm at 5'5". As you can see, there's still a lot of height on this post that I could go a little lower. I like full leg extension, but at 5'5", you think this is about 5 or 6 inches, which means it can go down to about 4'11", which no problem, someone can ride it. But my friend John was also riding this, and he's 6'2", and I believe he was saying that he didn't have any problems with the seat post all the way as high. But for larger riders, those who need longer arm extension length and also more height, they have a large size that actually does go from 5'6" rider heights all the way to 6'4". So you have two different rider sizes that can actually ride this bike. Now, I want to go back to the rear here, which is kind of the powerhouse of this bike. Okay, for the motor here, we have a 750 watt motor that goes all the way up to 1100 peak. And with that, you are being driven by a torque sensor that's coming out of this middle here, which is a kind of newer design torque sensor that I felt in some of the other torque sensors. There are some torque sensors I didn't really care for because of the way that it would just kind of be jerking forward. But this here, I don't know what they did with it, but it is a better fine-tuned. I don't know if this is the Velo Power Drive system that they're calling it that's making a difference, but that is one thing that is really making a difference in the enjoyment of this ride. The Velotric torque sensor is really just a fine-tuned torque sensor that does not need you to go ahead and be sweaty like some of the other torque sensors if you want to do it at higher speeds. The other reason being is that there's also a lot of different settings within the display that you can actually make this so that you have a lot more control over your throttle as well. So we'll go over a little bit more on that. This bike does get shipped out as a Class 2 e-bike, as you can see here. We have a Class 2 sticker, and with that, we're going to also talk about how much this motor can actually give you with 28 miles an hour top speed depending on the settings that you want to put it to. You can make it a class 3 bike. You also have 75 miles of range on a single battery charge, depending on how much help that you actually give the bike. So that is one of the things too. You have a great amount of range. We'll talk a little bit more about the battery size that's on this bike. You also have 75 Newton meters of torque that is coming out of here. So this is no slump of battery. That's one thing I've always noticed about a lot of the Velotric bikes that have come out, is that they do have a lot of torque, which is really nice. The thing is, you can fine tune the torque that comes out of this so you don't feel as though it's jerking off the start when you're actually running off the line. That's a really nice feature that's available. The next thing that we also have is that you get 3 modes of pedal assist. Now in this display setting that we're going to have, we're going to go over all of this later on when we're back in the garage, but for now I just wanted to just make a mention. You have 3 power modes and then also your pedal assist modes. So at eco mode, you have a lot less juice being pushed into the motor to keep the power drain consumption lower. And then you have your trail mode, which is like a medium, and then you have your turbo mode, which means you'll get max power being shot to the motor every time you actually get started, which means you will have a shorter length of time for your battery life, because it's kind of like my mom used to say lead foot. If you have that turbo put in there, you're going to just like hitting the gas hard really every time that you're going to. Now let's go ahead and talk about the brake system we have. We also have 180 millimeter rotors back here with Tektro hydraulic brakes. Really, really sharp stopping, great brakes. These are just you know, high-end name brand. We also have our front suspension here with the preload adjustments. These are 80 millimeters worth of travel, and then of course your lockout. So you can lock out the front suspension if you don't want it to actually be a front suspension, but this makes it actually a really smooth ride in the front here. Even if you have the tires pumped up all the way, it really does make it a really nice ride. I have the tires pumped up in the back pretty hard, so I do feel a lot of the backside bumping, but that's not so much of a big deal. These are Kenda tires, and they are puncture resistant at 27.5 inch by 2.4 inch tires. Now these are, if you notice the tread that we have here, these are definitely road tires, and they do have puncture resistance in them, but I did add flat out tire sealant into the tubes of this, like I do with every single one of my bikes, because we just have so many goat head thorns out here that will go through almost any tire. But these 27.5 being so big actually do help make the rotation and the ride just smoother all in general. It doesn't take away from any of the power that you get out of this bike too. I did want to mention also, we do have a rack system here that is one of these special type of racks that can actually take quick mounts. So you can just snap things in and out, snap in a pannier bag or even a cargo bag that's on the back here. This rack system does allow you to do that, but needless to say, if you don't want to use that rack system, because it is a specialized system just for this, the Velotric does have some that you can actually buy some, but you can just use this as a regular rack, and it does have places for you to actually do your bungee mount, which is really nice. I'll talk about the integrated taillight in a moment, but since we're on this side of the bike, I also wanted to say that you can charge the bike right here while the battery is in the bike, or you can take out the battery and charge the battery when it's off that too. We'll be going over that a little later. So the next thing I'll talk about is I'm going to shift the bike around and we'll be talking about the other side of the bike. Okay, so now that we have the bike turned around, I do want to talk a little bit about the whole drivetrain system that we have. We have an 8-speed Altus drivetrain that is attached to a 46-tooth narrow wide chain ring here, and this drive system allows you to even continue to keep pedaling even if it is further than going over certain higher speeds. It's a 170 millimeter crank that we have in the front here, and attached to this that actually is driving this Altus. Now I do want to say that Altus derailleurs, they definitely are a little better than actually a lot of the turning ones that most people put. This already is a big plus, just having that Altus Shimano gearing in the back. And we do have paddle shifters that are here in the front. So what you're seeing is that you can actually shift your gearing going up and down just really quickly, going up and down using these paddle shifters. And of course I'm coming from under the bike here, but with these shifters being here, your hands do stay over it, and it does make it a lot faster to go ahead and going up and down without actually moving your thumbs off. From this angle, what you're seeing here is this integrated battery. By the way, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about the battery here, because this battery is rated almost waterproof. I mean, there are some crazy pictures out there of this battery being submerged in water. I would never recommend anybody doing that. You just never know. This is the type of electricals and the cost of a bike, of any e-bike, that you just don't want to take a chance doing that. But just know, this bike is one of the highest water rated bikes that I've seen. Like I said, it's completely, I mean, they said the battery is even waterproof. It also comes with Samsung cells, and it is also UL rated. You have basically all the best premium certifications and qualifications of a safe battery bike against any type of problems of fires that most people actually have concerns with over these bikes. Velotric is really going above and beyond, making sure they have premium name and premium parts and premium everything on their bikes that they're putting together today. This Discover is, like I said, seriously one of the best bikes that I have ridden so far as a commuter style e-bike. And now at the $18.99 price, some might say it's a little higher in price, that if you actually are going to spend a little extra money on a bike that has the parts that this something has, you are getting your value, because of, you don't have to worry about it. This bike is actually going to last you a long time, but it also is going to perform so nicely for you. But more than anything else, it is super customizable, and they have put a menu on this that is one of the easiest menus I've ever seen on an e-bike. It's so intuitive, it's so easy to make adjustments for it. You can turn this into a class 3 and beyond, because you can even have a throttle that goes up to 28 and take off the limiters on that. But you can also bring it down to a 20-mile-an-hour class 1 bike if you guess you wanted to. I mean, you could actually even do that. But the speed on this is actually very high quality speed, and it does give you that ability to make the bike customizable to the way you want the bike to be. So keep that in mind. This is not just a high-priced premium bike that doesn't have a lot of value to it. You actually get all the value you can imagine from something as great a bike as this is. This seat is, it's a wide style saddle. It isn't soft enough for longer riding, but I probably would actually, that's one thing I would upgrade on this commuter bike, is to put like a Cloud 9. A lot of people would probably say that's an overkill, because this will do a fine job, but I did find after a lot of long time riding that it actually does, it could be a little softer for a little more comfort. But you could also add this is a 30.9 millimeter seat post that could be swapped out for a suspension seat post if you wanted to as well. So those are the only two things. It does come with a quick release clamp, so you could actually adjust this very quickly between riders. But for the most part, as far as a seat and saddle goes, it's a decent seat and saddle. I wouldn't say there's nothing that's exceptional about it. The other thing I would actually want to mention is the backside here on the blinker system that they have. They also have a blinker, night light. It also has customizable flashing if you want to instead, but it has left and right blinkers that are really bright that can be seen during the day. In fact, let me see if I can turn that on right now. And this is at right now 1:20, middle of the day. And you can see how bright that is. Now let me go ahead and turn on the right side blinker. So here you can see the right side blinker. And then let's go ahead and see if we can get the brake system. Oh yeah, here we go. We got the brake lights going on during, this is again 1:20 in the middle of the day. And you have your brake lights going on here. You can also have your headlight being turned on. And when that headlight goes on, then you have this. Now, it is actually not flickering, but because of the frame rate from my camera, you're actually seeing a flicker. But you do actually have a night light that actually does light up while you're at night, but if you hold the brake, it also steadies out as a brighter light. But you can also adjust this brake light so it does actually have kind of a flicker if you wanted to. So that's another option that you have available. Okay, so I brought the bike down to more my level, so we can actually go over the dash here. As you can see, it has this really wide handlebar width, and that actually really does help add to the comfort of the bike as far as a more cruiser style. So you're sitting almost absolutely straight up and down if you want to. The other thing about this, it does have a neck that can actually adjust up to a 60-degree angle, so you can actually bring the handlebars even further up closer to you, and you can be sitting back even further back if you wanted to. The only thing that does not come with this bike right here that you see is my water bottle holder. Now this bike does come with bottle cage bosses, which is more rare than actually easier. But the only problem with, if you were to put a bottle cage here, you would not have the step through accessibility as easy, because this bike is really accessible as a step through. In fact, let me go ahead and show you that really quick, what that looks like when I'm stepping through. If you're going to step through on this bike here, you can pretty much just do here and then step right through. And this low height here is really low, so that does, even as somebody my height, only 5'5", I do have the ability to step through pretty easily. And that is one thing. If you put a water bottle cage here and your water bottle cage boss, you're going to have probably your step through taken away from you on that. We do sell these water bottle bags at the ebikeproducts.com/shop website. You can have it on the handlebars. They pretty much fit almost any e-bike. The one thing I also do like about this integrated headlight is that it is at the top of the handlebars shooting down. You're not having to worry too much about actually hitting someone's face if you have it angled in the right position. I do like that as well. If you're looking from this side here, this wide handlebars, you can add mirrors on here and it'll come around you so that you can still see. That's another nice feature. And of course you do see your Tektro hydraulic brakes here with multiple cables coming out because of the auto cutoffs that actually happen. So you have your auto cutoffs, hydraulic brakes. These are aluminum handles, very nice and strong. And of course this side, nice cable management with the way these are all tied in. And then we also have a bell that did come with the bike here. Very effective there, but I guess they also have this boosting power. Like I said, the equal trail, and it actually affects here. We're going to be going over that. You have your M. So there's a whole bunch of buttons over here. And then you also have your power button on the top here. So there's, like I said, we'll go over all the features, but it has so much customization. And then once you have it set, you don't have to worry about it. It actually is a really nice bike to make it your own. If you like a lot of power and speed, if you don't, and you just want to be a nice cruiser, you can actually have that as well. So let's go over the battery. Okay, so the battery removal on this is actually really easy to do. Basically, you just get your key, which is a laser cut key, by the way. So you stick it in here, turn it, your battery will pop out. You can take the key out at this point and take the battery out here. And as you can see, it is a 14.7 amp hour battery here. Here we go, 14.7 amp hours. And then we have a total of 705 watt hours in that, which is a 48 volt battery. This is, again, super UL rated and very safe and protection. Easy to put it right back in. You can just basically slide it in the bottom here. It'll go in and then just drop it and then squeeze. And then you'll hear a click. And once that click is done, you know that you're good to go. And that's it. That's a whole battery in and out. It's actually not that heavy either. So it is a very easy battery to go ahead and take in the house if you want to charge it in the house. Oh, one other thing I wanted to mention here is that we also do have a USB-C charging port. So just keep that in mind. It is a USB-C, so not a USB-A where you normally have to, where you get the standard A size that'll go into your phone. So a lot of people are now using USB-C for any of the newer modern phones anyway. But it does have a USB-C charger there, so you can use your battery to charge your phone if you have it hooked up. The Discover 2 also has standard full fenders for the front and back. Of course, because of being a commuter bike, you never know when it's going to rain and you want to stay dry. One other quick side note is that this Velotric also does have bundle sets available where you can get the bike with front and rear racks as part of your bundle. So you have the ability to put in a front rack here with what you see on the mounting points that you have over here, plus the rear basket. You can actually have one attached already there. And if you wanted to get in a premium bundle, it also will come with a left-hand side mirror, which I think is brilliant that they actually included that, including the baskets, and then also a phone mount. Okay, so we're back in the garage so I can show you some of the absolute amazing features that this bike has. This is your blinker system, your left and your right, and it even does show you on your screen that it's blinking. The thing is, I was riding for a long time at one point where my blinker was on. I didn't even notice this because I'm looking at the road. Just so you know that the only way to turn the blinker on and off is to use the same button again. So that turns it off. So again, I heard it, turns it on, hit it, turn it off. Same thing goes for the right side, hit it, turn it on, turn it off. But as you can see, it is, like I said, a really bright blinker. So you do have a safety feature that is one of the best, brightest blinkers I've seen on an e-bike thus far. Velotric spared no expense of getting everything right as much as they possibly can on this premium bike here. So the next thing we have here is your actually, let's go ahead. I'm going to start with this one here first. Take a look here. We have it at eco mode. And then you have this button on the bottom here that actually changes your boost powering mode. So from eco to trail and then to boost. So you have 3 levels. Again, 1, 2, 3. And those 3 levels at eco mode has a lot less wattage output per level that you're coming out here. So you do have a flexibility of getting as much battery life by staying in eco mode, but still getting some power out of it. But it's just not going to be as torquey. It's kind of like having a light pedal push on the gas. In the trail mode, you get a little bit more power out of that. Maybe something that's going to be, I say, in some traffic areas where you might want to pick up faster in certain places. Eco mode is more for just cruising when you don't have to worry about getting, picking up a lot of speed. And then of course you have your boost mode. And this is if you're late for work. I guess that's the best way to put it. You want to get going and get there fast, put it in boost mode. Every time you come to a stop and you hit your gas, boom, you'll start to go. Now, up and down here, you're going to see different colors and changes. So that's a really beautiful display. You have your pedal assist 0, which actually does give you no throttle power. Pedal assist 1 gets you some power. And because I have the throttle unlocked all the way, it will take me all the way up to even 28 miles an hour. You do have even full throttle at pedal assist 1, and that's going to be even at the boost mode. If you have it in eco mode, in fact, let me see if I can do this. Okay, let me go ahead. I'm going to have, as you can hear it, it's actually a lot slower to start doing the pickup. So it's just putting out a limited amount of wattage when you're pushing up the bike here. And as it starts to get going faster, it still will go all the way up to the highest speed. But that's kind of like the difference that you have between eco mode and, so if you want to get a little more exercise, and you want to feel more like a bike mode, it'll do that. But in eco, even on one, you still will get 28 miles an hour. Let me go and hit the brake. That's kind of a good example. And the trail mode is that in between. So it's your amount of wattage output, how much it's going to put out at each level that you're going to go. So you have your, again, 5 different levels. You have a very nice clean display of your trip and distance. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit my plus here. The M here, this is the M button for the menu. And then see your average speed and now max speed differences there. I was going downhill at 36 miles an hour, very stable bike. And then you have your calorie burn and your carbon dioxide saved in the environment. And then you have your odometer and your total time. So we've gone a total of 17 miles. And at 17 miles, it still has 57%. And this was, a lot of this miles was uphill yesterday. So this actually battery does go quite a bit. It does do what it says. I was using both throttle, and then every once in a while I use pedal, and I was just kind of playing around with it. But that mile uphill was like almost 3 or 4 miles straight uphill. So I'm going to hold down my menu button here. And then what you're going to see is after a few seconds, it will click over to the menu. And look how clean and easy. Reset trip data. I mean, you can't make a mistake, and it tells you what, hit M to select. So I'm going to hit the M, takes you into this menu, and it'll tell you M to reset it. And then you just go ahead and hit it. It'll reset, and it even tells you success. That's like, there's other bikes where you don't know if it actually took it or not. Your riding mode, going to go ahead and hit M again. And then you have your eco mode, and your up and down, your trail mode and boost. So you can actually have that preset. Now you can also tie this into an app on your phone and control all this as well. Okay, I'm gonna get save there. Then we're gonna go to speed limit. And again, you can, it's so easy. You can, now it's gonna do maximum 28 because that is the legal class 3 limit. But you can do your speed limit all the way down as low as 12. So if it's a new rider, you don't want them getting away and hurting themselves, you can do the 12, or you go all the way to 28, hit M save, and again it says success. Super intuitive. All right, screen brightness, again, same, very easy. Darkens the screen. And there's even an auto mode. So it will sense, because there is a light sensor here, it'll sense and it'll automatically adjust based on the brightness of the day that you're out there. And it is really a clean one. Auto power off. You can do it how many minutes before the bike shuts off. And then we're going to go down to auto light. So this will turn on your headlight automatically. And then we have rear light mode. So this is what I was telling you about. Right now, the rear light mode is just, it's off. What you want to see is this icon here will actually light up. So I'm going to hold this down. You'll see it light up. And my headlight will turn on ahead. You can see how bright that is as well. But this is on now. And then what you see is, you do see that this is a steady light. Okay. Without the sunlight, my frame rate is good, so you're actually seeing it there. Now what we're going to do is we're going to change this, going into the menu. And we're going to go into rear light mode. I'm going to hit the M. And then you're going to actually see 2 flashing. So right when you're riding, it's flashing, and when you're braking, it's going to be enhanced. And then when you have riding, it's steady, and then enhance with braking. Well, let's do number 2, and I'll show you what that does. So we're going to hit save. And then we're going to then get out of this menu here. And let's see if I can actually hold this here. And, okay, so it's already blinking as your rear light mode. And this is what you'll be able to ride around with, knowing that, you know, you get a little more display when it's flashing like that. And then let's see what happens when I hit the brake. And then when I hit the brake, it just goes steady. Okay, and then we're going to go ahead and change this mode again. Let's go down to rear light mode. And then we're going to change that to 3. And then hit M. And then we're going to go back. So steady light here. And then let's see what happens when I hit the brake. I hit the brake, and then it blinks when you hit the brake. So that's the difference there. The other one, it blinks when it's steady, and then it goes steady strong. This one goes the opposite. It stays steady, and then it blinks when you actually hit it. And again, these are your bright blinkers. All right. Auto light, rear light mode. Oh, throttle limited. So we're going to go into here. You can actually turn on the throttle limiting or turn off, so that at 20 miles an hour, it'll cap out. So basically it becomes a true class 2. That's actually great there. And then cruise control. Oh, another great feature. You can turn on and off your cruise control. Okay, I don't like cruise control, so I'm going to leave that off, and then connect to the app. And this is where you can actually connect to your phone. Just scan it, and it will now connect to your phone, and you'll have a lot more features there. And then here's the Find My. Again, you can actually do Find My, or you can actually take it off here, so that once the bike gets paired to your Apple account, then you can find this bike in case somebody takes it. Or if somebody's borrowing it, you would know where it's at. All right, so set units, you can actually go, you can do either metric or standard for kilometers or miles per hour. And that is your full menu control. This is one of the easiest displays I've ever come across. And then we have just our power button on the top here, and this turns everything on and off here. By holding it for a few seconds, it shuts off the bike. By holding it for a few seconds again, turns on the bike. All right, thank you so much for watching. I'm going to close out this video with showing you some footage of me going down a hill at the end at 34, I believe, miles per hour was at my fastest point because this bike was super stable. And yeah, it is all going downhill, so there's no motor power. But I just also wanted to mention, if you are interested in taking a look at this Velotric Discover 2, you can go to ebikeproducts.com/discover2. Again, that's ebikeproducts.com/discover2. That'll take you directly to the website, and you'll be able to check out the bikes and all the specs that's available for this, and the colors and the sizes as well, plus all the bundle deals that they have for the accessories in the back. But again, thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please feel free to like and subscribe. Thank you so much again, Velotric, for sending me this bike for review. It was absolutely one of the best commuter bikes I have tested so far. And by the way, those of you who do use the link below, it is an affiliate link, and they do give me credit if there were any sales that actually happened for it. It doesn't cost you any more. It goes to support this channel, and that is greatly appreciated. And I'll see you guys in the next video.